Hi everyone, Miss Candorin here. If you missed our Zoom session today, I'm going to read the first half of the chapter of the book that we read at our meeting, and you can catch up with us. So the book that we're reading is one of the Magic Treehouse research guides. It's one of the nonfiction books, so it's an informational book that has a ton of facts, and it's called Tsunamis and Other Natural Disasters. Our authors today of the book are Mary Pope Osborne and Natalie Pope Boyce, and they're on the back here with their dogs, which is a super cute picture. So if you don't know what a natural disaster is, it's something that happens naturally in our environment, and there are many different kinds of natural disasters. There are a lot more than there are that are in this book. This book is only going to talk about a few of them. But let's see here. First, we have our table of contents, which is going to show us all the chapters and what the chapters are going to be talking about. The first chapter is just disasters. It just talks about some different kinds of disasters and the ones that are going to be talking about in the book. Chapter 2 is about earthquakes, which is another kind of natural disaster. Chapter 3 is about tsunamis. Chapter 4 is about volcanoes. Chapter 5 is about the Ring of Fire, which goes along with volcanoes. Chapter 6 is about landslides and avalanches, which are two other kinds of natural disasters. And Chapter 7 actually talks about rescues, how humans and actually animals rescue people that are hurt in natural disasters. So I'm going to read this journal, this little letter that was written by Jack and Annie. Jack and Annie are actually fiction characters that are in the fiction Magic Treehouse books, but they added Mary and Natalie, the authors, they added Jack and Annie into the book. So it's kind of like they are the ones that are giving us the information. So here is the letter that they wrote to us. It says, "Dear readers, we saw on television how the horrible tsunami of 2004 took so many lives and destroyed so much property. We realized that we didn't know exactly what caused tsunamis. Then we started to talk about other disasters. We knew a little about volcanoes and earthquakes, but not enough. We had seen pictures of landslides and avalanches, but we needed to know exactly why and how they occur. So we decided to write a book about natural disasters like these. Our research took a lot of time, but the good news is that there is tons of helpful material out there. There were hundreds of excellent websites about natural disasters, and there were loads of books in the library. In fact, we had almost too much information. We sat down and discussed what we had learned. We filled many notebooks and wore down lots of pencils. We spent hours printing out articles and pictures. Phew! It was a lot of work, but it was also really fun. We will say that doing research is like taking vitamins for the brain." Jack and Annie. So chapter 1 is called Disaster. And here's a picture here of what part of chapter 1 is going to be talking about. So it starts off with a real story about a girl named Tilly Smith. On December 26, 2004, Tilly Smith, a schoolgirl from England, was on vacation with her family. They were visiting an island off the coast of Thailand. The day was bright and sunny as Tilly and her family walked along the beach. The ocean appeared calm and clear. But as she walked, Tilly noticed that the water suddenly seemed odd, like strange. Waves rolled in with foam that looked like it was sizzling in a frying pan. I'll read that again. That's the kind of figurative language that we've learned about. Waves rolled in with foam that looked like it was sizzling in a frying pan. Think about that word like. It starts with an S. If you said simile, you're correct. Nice job. So here's that picture again. The surface of the water seemed to bubble. Waves came in, but they didn't go back out again. The beach was getting smaller and smaller. Suddenly, Tilly remembered what she'd learned in school just 2 weeks before. The class had been studying the huge waves called tsunamis. Tilly remembered the warning signs of a tsunami. She got really scared. These were the signs she'd learned about. She started screaming. Tilly's parents ran to her side. She told them what her teacher had said in class. Tilly and her parents rushed up and down the beach, screaming for everyone to run. Then they raced to warn people in the hotel. Everyone scrambled for safety. Tilly and her family climbed to the 3rd floor of the hotel. Minutes later, a wall of water crashed onto the beach. 3 huge tsunami waves struck one after the other. The sea seemed like an angry monster. Again, we have the sea seemed like an angry monster. Again, we have another simile. Everything in its path was gobbled up. Tables and chairs landed in the pool. Palm trees toppled over. But Tilly and her family were safe. The water did not destroy the hotel. Thanks to Tilly and her parents, many other people survived as well. So here we have a photo of Tilly and our former president, Bill Clinton. And here we have a caption that's describing this photo here. It says, Tilly Smith meets former President Bill Clinton on a visit to the UN in 2005. So a question that we asked our friends in our Zoom was, if you were Tilly, how would you feel? If you saw the signs of a tsunami, how do you think you would feel? I would feel very frightened, but I would also try to stay calm so that I was able to warn people so that they could get to safety. Tilly had been part of a terrible natural disaster. This disaster was caused by an earthquake many miles away. The earthquake took place in the Indian Ocean. It set off one of the worst tsunamis in history. So if you remember, we talked about cause and effect. Cause is why something happened. Cause and effect. 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 So the cause is why something happened, and the effect is what happens as a result. So what happens is the cause is an earthquake, and we'll learn about earthquakes later on in our book, but an earthquake is when the floor of the earth shakes. So the earthquake is the cause, and the effect is what happens after is a tsunami. So that's what happened here. There was first an earthquake and then the tsunami. Here we have a crazy photo, and I'm going to read the caption here. It says, a boat landed on Nataya Pumsey's house in Thailand during the tsunami. So here's Nataya. This is a real woman, and this was her house, and the boat landed on her house. The tsunami waves were so strong that it carried this boat and crashed and ruined her house. I can't imagine how she was feeling. 2 hours after the earthquake, giant waves hit the coasts of Thailand and Indonesia, another country. And that was the tsunami that Tilly was a part of. Hours later, waves reached the coast of southern India and East Africa, more than 5,000 miles away. So India and East Africa are 5,000 miles away from Thailand and Indonesia. And there were tsunamis there as well. When it was over, around 300,000 people were dead. 2 months later, after the tsunami, rescue teams were still finding over 500 bodies a day. Oh my goodness, that is shocking information. So still 2 months after, they were still finding 500 bodies a day. Oh my goodness. So we're going to stop there. That's where the first half of the chapter ends. So here I have our 2 questions. You can choose to do one, you can choose to do both, whichever you would like. And again, you could write down the answer, you could draw a picture, you could take a video of yourself, whatever is easiest for you. Myself and Miss B love to hear your responses. So the first one is, what fact did you learn and why is it interesting? We know a fact is something that is true and you can prove it. We read a lot of facts, things that were true in our first half of the chapter. Facts about Tilly, facts about a tsunami, facts about some natural disasters. So what was the fact that you learned and why was it interesting? Here is a sentence starter. A fact that I learned was, and it was interesting because. So there's your sentence starters for that first question. Then I gave a bonus question. What natural disaster are you most excited to learn about and why? So our sentence starter for that is, I am most excited to learn about blank because. And here, and I'm going to post a closer picture of this, we have the 5 different kinds of natural disasters that our book is going to be talking about. Tsunami, earthquake, volcano, landslide and mudslide, or avalanche. So which one of those natural disasters are you most excited to learn about? Again, there are other natural disasters like hurricanes that we know. Unfortunately, our book isn't going to be talking about hurricanes, but that is another kind of natural disaster. But I'd like you to choose one of the natural disasters that our book is going to be reading about, and which one are you most excited to learn about and why. I hope you enjoyed our first book club. I can't wait for the second half of the chapter on Wednesday. If you didn't come today, you're more than welcome to come on Wednesday. We're going to be meeting at 12 o'clock. Hope to see you there. Bye.